Hola, ¿qué tal a toda la comunidad de Roastbrief? Bienvenidos a una entrevista más. Hoy tenemos el privilegio de continuar con la cobertura que tenemos de la edición 2025 de Cannes Lions. Hoy tenemos a Fernando Duarte, Executive Creative Director de AlmapBBDO Brasil y miembro de jurado en la categoría Entertainment Lions for Sport. Fernando, how are you? It's such a nice and a great privilege to me to have you here.
How are you? For me, I'm really happy being here. As we were speaking before, I would really like to give this interview in Spanish, but it would be harder for me. So sorry for the audience that I'm speaking English right now.
There's no problem at all. For us, it's such a great privilege to have you here. You're a two-time winner also of two Grand Prix at Cannes Lions.
Yeah, we got really lucky 2 years in a row, 2023 with a B2B Grand Prix and 2024 with Entertainment for Music Grand Prix. So let's hope we go to the third one because, you know, the third is the charm.
Yes. So you're the juror now for this category, this Entertainment Lions for Sport at Cannes 2025. So what can you tell us about the trends or the patterns are you seeing in how these brands are leveraging sports to tell compelling and culturally resonant stories?
Perfect. I just, up until now, I just judged 36 pieces of work. Some of them were repeated, so it's not exactly 36 different works. Okay. And today, a new batch came to me, so now I have 150 pieces to judge. But up until now, what I have seen is, first, a lot of ideas, and it should be expected, a lot of ideas about or in the French Olympics last year. Yeah, so it was to be expected since it's sports and a lot of things happen. What I can say is that brands are using, even brands that you wouldn't expect to use sports are jumping in the trend. One of the case studies that I already seen, it's such a huge thing. It's how Louis Vuitton and all its companies that are under them made the French Olympics a luxury event with like how they designed the medals and how they gave the medals inside a box with the Louis Vuitton pattern and the French uniform. So it's quite fun to take because, and mostly as Aladdins, we are really used to see ideas in sport, mostly football. Let's be honest, and usually more humorous and stuff. So it's quite interesting to see the approaches that are coming from different brands about sport and how they are using it to leverage their business. Another huge thing that I'm seeing a lot is maybe because it's something that is recent in Brazil is ideas regarding bets. So okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them from Portugal and a lot of them from Brazil up until now. I think it's a trend that I will probably see a lot, ideas for bet houses and stuff like that. But it's been fun up until now. There's some humorous things that were more to my liking, and it's been a pleasure. It's a category that it's full of things that full of that ideas that at the end of the festival may be the favorite of some people, and because it's such a fun thing to work with entertainment and sports.
Yes, I totally agree. In a world where sports content competes with endless forms of entertainment, what elevates a campaign beyond this fandom into something creatively iconic? Because there's a lot of content. You were talking about the Olympics, so that's an insight that should be taken care of.
Yeah, because that was a fun thing to judge, and it wasn't the only idea about the Olympics. but because it's not about exactly a fandom. And what we're used to see is working around fandoms and stuff like that. But the best ideas I have seen up until now, more than engaging fandom, they are really relevant to the brand. They are really on brand. It's sometimes I see that some brands just want to use sports because sports are huge,
Yes.
but they don't do it with the care that it should be. So particularly when I see an idea that's really fit on the brand, and it brings sports, a new light to sports, on a unique light to sport,
Yeah,
I tend to
there's something
prefer.
that's not intended to be. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Uh, it's what we were discussing in the jury brief when we get to know all of the juries in our category. There's two things: the exactly this, and the fact that what is entertainment, and this is the
Yes.
$1 million question that no one, not even the president or the organization, had a spot on answer.
Yeah, totally.
And it's something that it's kind of hard, because you watch a whole idea, you watch a case study, and at the end you have to ask yourself, yeah, okay, it's cool or not, but is it entertainment? And then there's a whole thinking about that to make it to give it a award or not, or in this case a huge score or a low score.
That's really interesting because the intersection of sports, social issues, and storytelling is becoming more prominent. So, how are campaigns navigating this space without losing this emotional impact or the brand relevance that it's so important?
Yeah, equity in sports, promoting equity, it's also a trend. Uh, Now that you said, I just remembered a bunch of ideas that several issues on society. Maybe, and I do believe it's because sports are such a popular, such a engaging way to talk with audience, that when you want to talk about something serious, an issue of the society, or really on brand way, as I was saying, it's like perfect. But I've have seen a lot of ideas up until now that use sports to leverage communities, or as to correct issues and problems the society has.
In your experience and during these all these entries that you've been looking at the moment, how do you think brands can authentically contribute to sports culture without being commodifying it? And what work have you seen this year that gets this balance right?
I think there are some approaches to that question, because as I was saying before, what Louis Vuitton had done, is something that I never thought a luxury brand would do, and it could do in a really classy, fun way. But what but there are some ideas, and I don't know how much I can quote them, but there's one Lace piece of work, Lace, PepsiCo Lace piece of work, about Thierry and Messi wanting to, probably being seen. I actually saw it on Roastbrief when it got launched, like a lot of time ago. They want to see a game in a bar, but it's kind of like an activation live, that they're only going to watch the game if the bar has Lace. So as someone that works with the brand in Brazil particularly, I could see how this is spot on the concept that Lace is trying to push. That is, if there's no Lace, there's no game. And it's entertainment, and he understands its audience without being too brandy, even though it's spot on the brand. This was really entertaining to watch. This used sports in a way that I totally agree that we should use more. And yeah, it was quite a fun idea to judge up until now.
Yeah, that's really interesting because now you said it from your perspective in Brazil. It's a country that where sport is deeply ingrained into the culture. So, how does the local insight enrich this global creativity in this category in particular?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a challenge because the jury brief talked about a lot about fandom, and to explain a local fandom, it's quite hard. My opinion on Brazil, it's always keen on football, but it's always keen on what they are good at the moment. So when some surfers started to get the spotlight, they got all the brands. Now it's becoming tennis and a little bit of skate because of Raíssa. So the official sport of Brazil is football, of course, but the second is always the one where we have the most chances. And people really, and I see here in Brazil, people really engage in this kind of thing. You don't even imagine that some people would really enjoy watching tennis matches. And when Brazil is doing good in tennis, like with Bia Haddad, a bunch of hidden fans start appearing. And I guess, and I probably it's a guesswork, but I guess I will see a lot of surf ideas and tennis ideas from Brazil, and I will have to give this same speech to the jury so they can understand. And of course, I'll probably listen a lot of this because the jury is so plural that it's going to be amazing to see new takes on work and try to be completely without bias on the work because I don't understand the fandom of a sport in a community or something like that. I really think that right now, the phase where I'm just judging by myself and giving scores to the ideas, it's something that will be good for me to know a lot of ideas and to actually see which are my favorite in a completely unique and single-minded point of view. But I'm really eager to look at each point of view of the jury because then I think will be really rich discussion that will, in a perfect word, make us all better. And in the work, of course.
Yes, of course. And this is a personal question. I mean, how is it going with, for example, Gabriel Bortoleto in Formula One? How is it going in the market and the brands in Brazil?
Yeah, it's exactly what I was saying. Now that we had a pilot in Formula One, brands are starting to come back to Formula One as a sport because up until really recently, everything that was done and talked about Formula One in Brazil was regarding Senna. And since he was his death anniversary, I guess last year or the year previously, I don't remember, the last year, there was like a huge influx of work regarding Senna. So it's quite interesting to see Brazil trying to reinvent itself on Formula One on the point, and I mean this on communication-wise. So how brands are approaching it and the kind of briefs that come to the agency now regarding Bortoleto, and stuff like that.
Yes, I ask you that question because Ayrton Senna was a local hero. That his influence go through being, for me, the greatest Formula One driver of all time, and that's because of all of the impact that his influence had in Formula One. And we've seen a lot of ads, a lot of campaigns with his image, and that's really interesting in the Brazil market. And it's something that goes like really local to something like global, and there's worldwide audience.
Yeah, for sure. Ayrton Senna is quite a particular case because of his global appeal. I remember when I was back at Creative License of the LIA Festival, the London International Festival, when I was just a young man trying to make it on advertising. And I went to LIA, and they had this most interesting thing ever that was for us to normal people back then to sit in the same room as the jury and to watch they discuss. And I got a lot of things that I learned from this experience. But one thing that relates a lot to Senna was I was at Lia at that year, I guess it was 2014, that had that idea for Honda with the lights doing his best lap.
Yes.
And it was, I do remember one of the jurors that was a Japanese man, and he was really pushing for it to be a Grand Prix. And then I went to talk with him afterwards because he was really pushing for something that Senna related, and it felt Brazilian even though it was really global. And his response was, in a sense, quite fun because I saw that he wasn't only trying to push it because he liked the work, but because he liked Senna, because Senna is such an icon and such an idol in Japan. He really think he deserved the spotlight, and it's kind of fun to watch this kind of stuff, and really interesting. You work a lot with this, and that's what I've said before. I really believe that when we got together in the room again, it would be really amazing to get these perspectives and point of views on things Brazilian as well as global things.
So what role does innovation, whether in format, platform, or technology, play in redefining how we experience this sports-driven storytelling today?
Yeah, what I'm seeing at the jury right now, there's mostly two huge. I wouldn't say trends, but I could easily divide the things that I've been working in two categories: brand experience, like something that are to engage the consumer in different ways, and long form content. And they all have each spotlight, but it's what I've been seeing most is our long form content and content, or not so long form. Like right now I was judging a piece of work from Nike that had like almost 2 hours long, but this kind of content is getting more popular. I can see brands producing more and trying to tell bigger stories in a sense, or to use it as a complete platform, as I had said of Louis Vuitton, that they build brand like few others in Paris by engaging all aspects that they could of the competition.
So looking beyond the winners, what kind of creative risks do you believe the industry should be taking more often in the entertainment for sport space?
Yeah. From a personal point of view, I would love to see more humorous work. I think we're getting back to that phase where we can really see fun, and when I mean fun, I mean funny, really, work being done. Because up until recent years, we were quite serious on our approach on things, and somehow there's still this kind of, I don't know, appeal to be really serious about something, mostly when we're talking about NGO work and stuff like that regarding sports. But what I'm really liking to see is how brands that could talk seriously use humor to engage. So
Okay.
there's a bunch of ideas in the equity subcategory, some serious, but the ones that are kind of funny, or it brings a smile to your face, and they are more memorable, and they usually deserve a better grade, a better score, at least for myself.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I think this is a category, and the advertising industry in general should be more fun, should be more cocky, maybe. I don't know. But before we finish this amazing interview, please tell me what excites you the most about the creative future of sports-related content, especially with these evolving platforms, the fan engagement models, and the rise of these athlete creators.
Yeah. What I think it's happening right now, and it's quite exciting. It's that, at least in Brazil, sport is being decentralized, because now we have a bunch of different ways to watch it, and different platforms. And if I want to watch this championship, I can go to this platform or this platform, and it could go on a streaming service, it could go on a YouTube channel. And this, advertising-wise, brings a lot to the table, because when it was exclusively to one television channel or something like that, or you would hack the sport itself, or you would do regular advertising or something that are not on the platform. I just use the sport in a different platform to work on my brand. With this kind of split on media, I think there's a lot of integration on the program that can be done. The Lios is quite a good example that started on a regular broadcast of a TV channel. It became a live experience during it, and it was actually live. It was an out-of-home experience in a sense as well. So I think that shouldn't be the possible some years before. In Brazil, definitely wouldn't be possible. But this kind of integration in several programs and several disciplines to make the work shine brighter, I think it's amazing, and it's something that we should strive to do.
What an amazing answer, because I totally agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of this ground that should be more explored than the other way. Thank you so much for this interview. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's a great privilege, and also for our entire Roastbrief community, to have you here, Fernando. Thank you so much, and good luck. I mean, it must be really exciting to be a juror. So thank you so much for your time.
No, I thanks a lot for this opportunity. Keep doing the good work that Roastbrief has been doing. We need more Latin powerhouses in communication and build a more Latin identity for ourselves. And I think that Roastbrief is doing that quite well. And as you said about the honor of being a jury, I love to quote Spider-Man that says that with great powers comes great responsibility. So I'm trying to be the most responsible possible on each piece of work to give it the proper treatment.
I mean, you're a two-time winner, 2 Grand Prix winner, back to back. So, I mean, your voice should be listened as a jury and as a great member of this industry. So, thank you so much, Fernando.
Thank you.
And muchas gracias también a toda la comunidad de Roastbrief por haberse quedado acá. Sigan en sintonía con toda la cobertura que llevamos a cabo para Cannes Lions 2025 y pues no se pierdan los pormenores de este increíble festival. And thanks again, Fernando. Have a great day.
Gracias. Voy
Chao.
a intentar solamente un final en español. Muchas gracias.
Chao, chao.
Chao.